Once you are an adult, once you're in business, copying is the only thing that you ever should do. Find somebody who else has already done it and copy exactly what they did. So basically, what we're helping people understand is how you can save your money and spend someone else's. OPM, other people's money. We hear about that term all the time.
Welcome to Small Strides, Big Business, the podcast for insurance agents who want to grow their business in a way that feels smart, sustainable, and authentic. On this podcast, we have honest conversations about better sales interactions, client service, automation, mindset, marketing, referrals, practical things that move your business forward in real life. Whether you're brand new or years into the game, so grab a notebook and let's dive into today's conversation. Hey everyone, thank you so much for coming back to Small Strides, Big Business. Today we're going to dive into the fascinating area of some financial strategy with our incredible guests and brothers, the banking brothers. We've got Jonah and Jeremiah today. So hi guys, thanks so much for joining us. This is fun. I'm excited to talk more about this concept. Really excited to pick your brains a little bit, but just to tell everybody, you guys are brothers, obviously, and your primary business focus, as I understand it, is really educating people on the concept of infinite banking. Before we jump into all those questions and go down that path, I'd love to hear a little bit about you guys. How did you both get into insurance and the banking industry? And tell me a little bit about your journey to get where you are today.
Sure. Well, believe it or not, since we grew up in the same house and we have the same parents, right? And one of us got to be older, right, to be brothers. A little bit of our story is older brother finding something that he was really excited about and sharing it with younger brother. Younger brother, myself, being the younger brother, not really having much going on. I was working at the time at a well, I got out of school and I got a big boy job, right? I got a good job at a bank and I worked there for a few years. It wasn't really my thing. And I had a lot of colleagues that were moving from the banking industry over to the insurance space and just regular insurance, home and auto insurance. I wanted to move over there. I thought that might be a little bit better. And around that time is when actually we were introduced, and big brother Jeremiah introduced myself to the infinite banking concept. And so we'll get into that story a little bit later on how that works for all those who are listening and super interested in how that works. But that's really what happened. And then fast forward until now, we just both kind of fell in love with what we were learning specifically and applying to our own lives. And we said, you know what, right before COVID or around COVID, we said, you know what, we should just do it together. That might be a thing that we could get behind and something that we could build as a family business. And so the rest after that is, I guess, history.
Cool. I bet mom and dad are excited about you guys working together. That's really neat. I have 3 children, so the thought of them working together one day when they get older is really cool.
Well, it's only good if you get along the whole time. See, we're always calling mom and trying to get in her to be the third boat to keep us from fighting. So
Oh
that's
no,
different. Yeah.
that is different.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's dive into it. I know you've got this awesome business you're building. You've got this brand you're building. I want to talk a little bit about both, but let's dive in first to what is infinite banking. Tell me a little bit about it. How does it work? Let's just kind of give the 10,000 foot overview for those people out there who that's a new concept for.
Sure. Happy to explain that to you and maybe even use our patented idea of the 3 cup setup. If you're looking and not just listening, you can probably see I've got 3 glasses on the table. But to give you kind of the 1 minute version of what's going on here is infinite banking done properly is utilizing the ever increasing liquid income tax free cash value or equity that is growing in your whole life insurance contract, utilizing that to pay for things. So we call our system and the journey of our teaching program the save and spend system. So basically what we're helping people understand is how you can save your money and spend someone else's. OPM, other people's money. We hear about that term all the time, but utilizing whole life insurance, the oldest financial product in the book for a personal use
there's an increasing pool of money in there. How to use it.
I think a lot of people get that confused, Crystal. A lot of people who are out there listening or watching are going to be a little bit confused because they know one or two things about insurance, right? They know a little bit about their health insurance. They've messed with their dental insurance. They mess with their Medicare insurance, whatever it is, they mess with a couple insurances. And what they're not realizing is whole life insurance is the only insurance product that actually just works differently than all the others, right? And that's actually a huge key. So here's how I'll explain it in 30 seconds. All insurances you can think of, you can name them: cell phone insurance, travel insurance, pet insurance, vision insurance. Just keep going, whatever ones you want to name. They are all if products, IF. And here's what I mean by that: they only send you the benefit, they only cut you the check if the bad thing happens. Right. And we all know this to be true. You can just have State Farm for forever and drive your car so safe and you'll never get a check. In fact, you're crossing your fingers hoping you never have to call them to get that check. Right. But whole life insurance, it's in the name. It's not a trick name. Whole life insurance is not an if product. It is a when product, WHEN. When you pass away, there's a check coming. And so, because it's the only insurance product that is a when product, you actually can use it a little differently than all the other insurances. And that's what my brother's about to walk through.
Awesome. All right, I'm excited. Keep going,
All
Jeremy.
right. Okay, so here
Yeah.
we go. The 3-cup setup, something that we came up with out of frustration of trying to help people understand this several years ago when Jonah was dealing with somebody directly. We help people directly with coaching with this idea. We came up with this system here. There were buckets at first, but the 3-cup setup rhymes a little better. And since we grew up Baptist in the same house, everything rhymes or is alliterated or something like that. Okay, so we've got cup one, that's the red one. And if you can't read it, it says premium on it or premium deposit. So we're going to take some of our income and we can store that anywhere. Normally, it's stored in Wells or in Bank of America. But
Mhm.
if we store or put or pay for insurance, cup one, it's going to buy us a bunch of blue cup 3 death benefit. So we give the insurance company premium, it gives us peace of mind. Paperwork, a policy, payout, and a big pool of cash. And of course, because it's whole life insurance, this must pay. So your family, the small family or the
Mhm.
Dew family, is guaranteed this pool of money. We put in pennies, they promise us dollars. We know that. And whole life insurance because we bought it. My brother was mentioning to you, it's not an if, it's a when. So we bought it. It must pay. It does not go away. It cannot term out or expire. It must pay. There's just an ever increasing pool of that death benefit that's equity. We understand that term equity because of our houses, sometimes our cars, right? Equity. So we've got cash value. Cup number 2 in the middle, the green one. Green is for money to be spent. It's how much of the total policy is paid up, paid off, or paid for. It's equity. Well, the cash value's liquid equity. We can call and get it anytime. There's no questions asked. There's no application. It's how much of the insurance company's money we can spend while our money never leaves. And Crystal, our money never leaving in there has lots of guarantees, including an ever increasing pool of their money. So
Mhm.
there's always more money to be spent while our money stays safe and sound, and it's still going to compound. There you go.
Okay, there's a lot there. I love the 3 cups. That's making more sense. All right. All right, Jonah, it looked like you might have something to add to that.
Oh, all I was going to say is the equity idea has really helped a lot of people understand whole life insurance because when you purchase a home, people understand, well, yeah, I bought the house. The house is worth whatever, 200,000 or half a million dollars or $1 million. And as I pay the mortgage payment or pay the premium, more of that future value, whole value of the house becomes paid for or paid off or paid up and it becomes equity. To get equity out of a house, though, you got to go through every piece of paperwork you've ever imagined, and you got to stand in line or sit down at the desk for a while, and you got to. It's ridiculous. If you've ever tried to do it, you realize how ridiculous it is. To get equity out of your life insurance policy, it's as easy as logging online or clicking a few buttons, using the app, making a phone call if you want. If you're old school, you can totally do that. And
Yeah.
so when we've realized how we can relate this idea of the infinite banking concept to a permanent insurance policy that's not going anywhere, that has equity, And equity must at some point equal the value of the policy. That's what equity is. People can understand how that pool of cash just keeps increasing year after year, just gets bigger year after year. Your payment doesn't need to change, it doesn't need to increase, you don't need to add more, but your cash value continues to increase. And once people understand that, people can get really unique in the way that they use the cash value, which is kind of the infinite part of the infinite banking concept, right? Because then it's like, well, what'd you use your cash value for? And it just depends on where that person is in their life. I know, Krystal, before we recorded this episode, you were talking about just making a trip for some softball, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you maybe stayed in a hotel, maybe bought some flights, you had some food to buy. Well, you spent probably your money to do it, which is no problem. That's what the rest of the families did on the softball team too. But you might not have realized that it's possible for you to have spent the insurance company's money to do that. You just had to have access to their money, and you get access to it via whole life insurance designed for the infinite banking concept. And that is what makes it so cool. You can use it for whatever, and it'll just have more there next year. It's pretty awesome.
All right, you guys, you've piqued my interest. I have 3 kids in sports, so let's figure out how to get the next trip
There
paid
you
for.
go. Right. And let's figure out how to get them a scholarship, right? So it doesn't cost you
That's
anything,
even
right?
better.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
So, all right. So tell me a little bit what you just alluded, Jonah, to some of the unique things that your clients have used this for. Give us some examples. I'd love to know, what have you guys opened up for some people with this strategy? And then also, is it ideal to only kind of start this when you're young, or, is there a time frame where it's kind of too late? Tell us about that.
Sure. Why don't you answer the second question
Okay.
about age, and
Yep.
I'll come back for some examples.
Sounds good. So I'll start with that. Okay. So first off, whole life insurance. Everybody kind of knows that the longer you wait, the riskier you are to an insurance company. So premiums go up over the course of insurance time and life. We kind of understand that. So hey, heck, I'm already 40, I'm already 50, I'm already 60. Should I be doing this? The other idea is if something is going to compound and grow, which of course cash value and the liquidity continues to rise until your death, then maybe I should have started before 45. Maybe it's too late. So let's talk about that. So, number one is premiums are level in whole life insurance. And what that means is the cost is fixed. So, whatever premium you do decide to choose, it doesn't get higher or go up as you age. Okay. So, I picked a premium amount that I wanted to save, not just pay, but save with the insurance company in 2016. So that I'm older now, I'm a little bit uglier, but it's still the same premium. So let's think about that. Number one. Number two, when we think about banking, this is where we really have to expand our minds and combine this idea is that I always store my money somewhere. And no matter how old I am, how ugly I am, how healthy I am, or how unhealthy I am, which are all factors in insurance, are never factors in storing money. Money doesn't care if I smoke or not. Money doesn't care if I'm old or young, fat or skinny, gay or straight. Money doesn't care. And I need to store it somewhere. So putting your dollars inside whole life insurance allows guaranteed growth and cash flow. My money is guaranteed to grow and cash flow. I told you, Krystal, it has to rhyme. It's guaranteed, cannot go down or backward. It's guaranteed to grow. My family will get this payout one day. And cash flow, just how much of it can I get to so far? My age doesn't care. It doesn't matter if I'm 60 or 6. I can go buy a car. Doesn't mean I can drive it at 6, right? And heck, we all know some 60-year-olds who can't drive anymore either. Okay.
Yes.
But money doesn't care how old you are, definitely cares where you store it. So that's one idea there that we help people understand that more, less sing songy, obviously, when we're talking to them one on one. The other idea here, though, is let's say that you have aged out of insurability. That's when the insurance company says, hey, you're too old to buy this product on yourself.
Or even unhealthy.
Or you're too unhealthy, right? You're too unhealthy, right? You're too fat, you're too short, you're too tall. You got the neck, the back, and the sugar, right? So you can't have this product. That doesn't mean I cannot store my money there because I might buy it on she. It may be on he, it may be on she, it might be on we. So it could be on the kids. So you can buy whole life insurance on your children. So let's say the insurance company didn't like you as much as we do. And they said, you don't qualify. Well, that doesn't mean you can't buy whole life insurance, buy the insurance company's money on your 3 children, where you still own it and you're still able to leverage. So you don't have to be the body. And sometimes it takes people a minute to be reminded, oh, yeah, grandma buys Gerber policies on babies. So the baby doesn't own it. and they never ask grandma any health questions, she's not the buyer.
Yeah, so you asked another question, Krystal, which I really love, and that's kind of what have you seen? What have people used? What have you used it on? That sort of thing. And so, Krystal, I'll tell you, this is my favorite question to answer, and it's really because one of my favorite things to do with folks is to kind of help them see the light bulbs, and once they have the light bulbs, to hear what they actually want to do and accomplish with the money. Does that make sense? So like little things. When you get started with a whole life insurance policy, the insurance company delivers to you all of the values, all of the numbers, all of the cash growth of that policy on day one. You bought a whole life policy. I can scroll down the page and look to see when I'm 40 how much money's there, when I'm 50, when I'm 60, when I'm 65. And a lot of times when people see that document, light bulbs, because they go, hold on a second, I've been putting money into that other thing, that other plan, that other program for X amount of years. There's no paperwork like this. And I go, yeah, well, everybody knows that because it's not guaranteed. They didn't guarantee anything to you. And they go, yeah, but everybody does it. And that's what work said and HR said. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but that's not guaranteed. You know that. Well, yeah, of course I know it because it went down last year and this year and the president and the stock market, right? And I'm like, yeah, this is not that. This is guaranteed from the company. You can see it. And so a lot of times when folks see that, light bulbs, right? And then we actually get to like, what are we actually going to go accomplish now? So we've helped lots of people pay off significant debt with the policy. So that's one of my favorite things. Now, the idea for those of you who are listening is kind of as simple as this. Let's say you work and you earn money. You can use the money earned to pay off the credit card bill. You can. You accomplish one goal. Credit card bill paid off, but you've lost the money. The money that you worked for last week, the hours that you put in last week or last month, the paycheck that you put in last week or last month is gone. You never get it back. That last week or last month that you worked for that money has disappeared from your life. Or you could work hard for the money. You could save the money forever. That's guaranteed to grow in cash flow, and then use the cash flow to pay off the credit card. We've done two things. We still have the money, so I didn't waste my last week of working, right? Or waste the money, and I paid off the credit card, which was the original intent in the first place, right? So once people kind of get the light bulbs, we really help them. So paying off debt is a thing. In my own personal life, I've purchased a couple vehicles using cash value, which has been pretty fun. Just because buying cars, everybody kind of either you like buying cars or you hate buying cars. I'm one of those that I hate buying cars because the car dealerships just play with you all day. I didn't want to devote my whole Saturday to sitting in here. You know what I mean? And but when you get them, when you walk into the dealership and you've got the money available and ready, and you don't have to call a bank or credit union, it goes a little faster. It's been kind of fun. Man, we've helped. I mean,
Finance,
yeah.
anything that you might finance. That's a word that we bring up a lot. Anything that you might finance otherwise. So you finance things normally through borrowing other people's money, credit cards and bank money. So there might be houses, it might be cars, it might be vacations. Some of those are easy for people to kind of picture when it's after the fact we've now gotten out of debt. We still have our money compounding, growing, and cash flowing, but we've gotten rid of the debt. So those are some ideas there, but big purchases like education, like you mentioned, maybe your kids are thinking about college and school and they're going to need to finance it in some way. So they either spend cash and go down to zero, or they borrow someone else's money and pay for it. That's called interest. Well, you can save your money, spend someone else's, the insurance company's money, on a small family private bank, guaranteed to increase and be liquid, no taxes. So we're going to use that.
That's incredible. Thank you guys. I'm hoping that a lot of people are interested in pursuing some more information and reaching out. So I just want to shift gears for a second. I may come back to this with more questions, but you guys, just as far as building your brand, because I know that there's a lot of people that are plugging in who might be new to the insurance world or who are just looking to get to that next level. Brand recognition is important. Adding value out there for people is important. So share a little bit about how you guys have gotten where you are today with growing your the Banking Bros brand.
There are so many things to talk about there.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. So first off, we're in a family business. So there are certain things that we assumed would always be there, and that's our last name, and we could go with that. And some of our brand about teaching financial education has been, let's make sure, this is quite literally how we started, our brand voice and our brand style is going to be us. If we can be us, it doesn't matter if we have to kind of pivot on platforms. We go from TikTok to Instagram, or we do long form emails, or we send mailers, but we can say it as us. And the second thing, we wanted to make sure that the average family could understand what the heck we were talking about. We just didn't grow up in a household that talked about money other than our classic phrase was, we can't afford it. That was our phrase. You're allowed to talk about money all you want. We didn't have any, so there was nothing to talk about. you know? So we wanted to make sure actually that mom could always understand what we were saying. That was kind of our idea at the beginning. And then things really blew up when we decided to get into social media, and it was COVID. I'm not sure if COVID in New Hampshire was 2 weeks or it's still going on.
Oh, yeah.
2 years, 2 weeks, 2 months. I don't know. Are we still having it? But TikTok really helped us solidify storytelling and short form video.
Yeah. And I'll definitely tell you, Krystal, to just piggyback off that, really consistency too. I mean, I can
Yeah.
remember during COVID, right? We used to sit down at a friend's dining room table. We used to like on the calendar, we've got 30 minutes, go watch TikToks, figure out what the trends are because we're going to shoot them in 45 minutes, right? So you bring two ideas, I'll bring two ideas. Well, you know, that sort of thing. So a lot of people don't realize that if you're trying to build brand awareness, you've got to have consistency. You've got to actually treat it like something that you're working to build,
Yeah.
like a business, and treat it like that. And so because we were able to do that, it really did help. And so now, even fast forward, obviously COVID was a while back, or as Jeremiah said, maybe it's still going.
I don't know.
But now in 25, as we move to 26, about to get there, you know, we're focusing on other things like YouTube, like a YouTube channel. And but we're using the same strategy. We're going to be consistent. We're going to make sure our messaging is clear. We're going to make it down to earth and easy to understand. We're going to use visuals that people can follow. And so a lot of those things have really helped us get to the point of where we are today.
I love that. So as you guys are growing and you're getting more people to your platform and more people reaching out to you, are you finding there's any bottlenecks? Are you using AI to help you get through those things, or do you have assistants? Or, you know, I think a lot of my past guests have been interested in that growth piece, and just getting from here to here sometimes is a big jump.
Yep.
So how are you guys? What are you guys doing? What are you implementing? What are you using through your growth process?
Yes. Yes.
Yes to it
Okay.
all.
Yes. So first off, you don't rise to the level of your potential or whatever. You fall to the level of your systems. So
Mhm.
one of the smartest things we've ever done around here, other than getting business with family, which is a beautiful thing, and we're special and blessed to be able to do that, is we hired a coach. So we knew someone locally that is a great friend of ours already, acquaintance and friend of ours already, and we hired him to coach us. And throughout the process of working with him for about 4 years or so now, all of the things that you just mentioned have been able to hit our purview. So
Awesome.
we have help that is part-time help and specialty help and overseas help. We have platforms now that we're using that we didn't have at the beginning. We have calendars and links and all of these funnel type ideas to help people streamline their learning process and find us easier and quicker. Because yes, all of that is necessary. We didn't just want to, we were willing to do it and we still are. It's conversations we actually have right now. We're willing to build business around us, but ultimately we want to build a business so it doesn't have to be us or us only. So those things are iteration, they're iterative. And you've got to realize we're going to have to scrap this person that we thought and their job at this time. And most of it was part time. We were out here paying other people way more than we were making. But we're going to have to scrap this platform that we thought was going to work. We're going to have to change from this handle to the other handle and start a new account on social media. All of it. We've
Yep.
done all of it.
Yeah, I was going to say one of the things our business coach taught us really early on, it's kind of two pronged. The first one's easy, which is write down every single thing that you do throughout the day, throughout the week. Write it all down, every single thing. And it doesn't matter if even it's check the mail. If you do it and it's part of that business, write it down. And then the second part, and this is the important part, so if you're watching or listening, and you want to take notes, this is it. He said, once you go through your list, you want to eliminate, automate, and then delegate in that order. If you look at the thing that you do and you realize it can be eliminated, it's not going to build your business, it's not going to move your business forward, it goes. It's gone. You don't need to do it. If you do need to do it in order to build your business, you first need to see if it can be automated. And that's your question about like AI. All of these Geminis and Chat GPTs and anything else that is coming out, there's going to be a new one that comes out tomorrow. That's like the best thing we've ever heard of.
Right,
And apparently it's been out for a month.
Yeah.
Everyone knew.
But we didn't know. We were talking to you all day yesterday, so we missed it.
That's how these are working right now. But you then automate, right? And then if you cannot automate, you delegate. Because as business owners, what you should be spending your time doing is thinking of new ways to enhance, to increase, to reach more, to grow your business, not checking emails, right? So something like checking emails can't be eliminated. Does that make sense? You can't really automate reading that email and responding to that email, but you absolutely can delegate that. And so that was something that you've got to put your head around who are the people that you're going to hire, the assistant that you're going to get that you trust to be able to read that and respond for you. And so that takes you out of the seat and out of the position where I need to respond to emails all day because I don't need to respond to emails that doesn't grow my business responding to that email, does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that has been really helpful. So the answer, like Jeremiah said, is yes to all of it, but it's been a learning process. It didn't just happen overnight. Not at all.
I love the mentor. I had a guest who, his name is Jeff Arnold. You guys should definitely look him up. He's incredible. And he had a mentor way back that said, stop working in your business and work on your business. And that was just like, that changed everything for him. So, so I share that with people. That's awesome. So, yeah, you guys, this has been great. So I do have some other questions going around in my brain, but let's just kind of wrap up with for two parts. For a new insurance agent who's coming in wanting to start in the insurance realm.
Don't do it. That's my answer. Don't do it. Go back to what you thought was bad and just stay there. They're promoting next week. You can stay there.
Yeah, right. Go for the promotion. Well, all right. Maybe Jonah, what's your advice for the new insurance agent or somebody thinking about coming into this world?
Yeah. I mean, I think the same advice is not specific to the insurance space. I think it's the same advice that I give a brand new financial planner, financial advisor, a person starting their own business, whatever. And the advice is find a mentor. Find somebody who's got what you're looking to build. Find somebody who's doing what you're looking to do. Find somebody who's already done it and copy them, right? We all maybe have heard it at this point, right? Growing up in school, copying gets you in trouble, right? Copying gets you cheated, you got to go to the principal's office, whatever it is, right? Once you are an adult, once you're in business, copying is the only thing that you ever should do. Find somebody who else has already done it and copy exactly what they did. And so that would be my advice to the people who are out there just getting started in the insurance space. Find somebody, find some team, find some organization that has what you're looking for and plug in and then get a mentor and copy.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. Now I'll say that Jim Rohn, the business coach of the 70s, 80s, 90s, would have always said, if you work hard on your job, you'll make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you make a fortune. And I think our coach has really challenged us. And we came up with, there's three of us who are actually owners in this business. And at the beginning of this year, 25, he decided personal and professional development was going to be a strategic initiative. So we're reading books and we're reporting to each other. We have scheduled meetings during the workday where we have to report what are you leveling up on or in, what are you learning, and that has really changed things in 2025. So work harder on yourself than you do on things, and then when you work hard on yourself, your mind expands and changes, and then you have the freedom. There's another thing I've read recently is I have freedom to stop believing things that I used to believe 90 days ago. I don't have to believe that anymore because I have changed my thinking or changed my associations or changed the platform I was using. So I don't actually have that opinion that I argued at my brother with. I don't have that opinion anymore. I have changed. So that's a big thing.
Fantastic. That is a huge thing. I'm a huge fan of personal development. I kind of found it maybe 8 or 9 years ago now. Yeah, for sure. And also, just throwing in there, don't take advice from people that haven't walked in the shoes that you want to walk in or aren't in the space. You know, if you wouldn't trade places with them for a day, they're not the person, right, to take
You
the
got it.
advice from.
Oh,
So that's
very much
great,
so.
getting a good mentor. Awesome. Well, guys, tell everybody, where can we find you? I'm excited to kind of learn a little bit more as I follow you on some social media platforms, but where can everybody find you?
Well, first off, if you keep liking it, even if he's doing bad dances on TikTok for a while, don't worry. My posts are coming. All right, my posts are coming. It's going to be better. No, we don't dance that much anymore. It's very informational. But at the beginning, we're doing a lot of the little goofy dances.
We were.
But if you want to find us on TikTok, if you like that one, we're at either handle, The Cash Compound or The Banking Bros. And you can find us on FBTTIGYT, YouTube, or is there another one that I missed? But YouTube, LinkedIn,
I don't
we're
know.
on all of them. So the
But I
cash
already said you were in
compound,
LinkedIn.
yes,
But it's the Banking Bros on all
yeah.
platforms. TikTok just happens to have 2 handles. TikTok's got the Chinese own that one, so you gotta play by the Chinese rules. But, on all the other platforms, it is the Banking Bros. We've even got a specific Facebook group. If you're interested in joining and learning more specifically from people who are doing it, you can jump in there. Also, that's called Infinite Bankers on Facebook, but we'll put a link for you guys who are watching or listening in the description, so it'd be easy for you guys to find it.
All right. Well, thank you guys. You brought a lot of great value. Thank you for the visual for those people that are watching. And if you're not watching, let's find this so you can see those 3 cups. I love that idea. And I think that there's probably a lot of people who are thinking, I need to know more about this and how can this work for my family? So thanks so much, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending time with me today on Small Strides, Big Business. I hope this conversation gave you some clarity, confidence, or one new idea to move your agency forward. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to follow or subscribe and share it with another agent who could benefit. I'm Krystal Small, and remember, every small stride you take today builds the foundation for long-term confidence, stability, and growth in your business.